So I went back and watched the 2018-2019 NBA All-Star game, and I felt like it was missing one player who I genuinely do believe should be there. In today's video, we're going to be talking about a player I believe will be returning to the NBA All-Star game for the upcoming NBA season. I'd love to hear what you guys think, if you guys agree that the player that we'll be talking about in this video will be returning to the NBA All-Star game. I genuinely believe that having an off year that he did this year is definitely going to push him to be better. And now that his situation has changed and everything has moved for him, I think this could be a massive year for the player. So I've pulled up some stats from the 2016-27 season of this NBA player. He actually was an All-Star in that season. Then he was injured in the season after. 2018-2019, you can see there was a massive slide from his actual best in 2016-2017. That's why I think that this player will return to the NBA All-Star game in this upcoming season. So the player we're talking about is Boston's guard Gordon Hayward. Gordon Hayward was drafted by the Utah Jazz. He was improving steadily with the Utah Jazz, and then he had his breakout year in 2016-2017 where he received his first NBA All-Star nod. Gordon Hayward decided to leave the Utah Jazz and sign a 4-year max deal with the Boston Celtics. And then there was the signing of Kyrie Irving and all this hype around the Boston Celtics team. We all know what happened in the first regular season game for the Boston Celtics and for Gordon Hayward when they played the Cleveland Cavaliers. Gordon Hayward went up for a alley-oop from Kyrie Irving, and he came down, I think, on LeBron James and Jay Crowder, and dislocated and broke his ankle, and he was to miss the rest of the season. This was devastating not only for Gordon Hayward after signing a max deal, but devastating for the Boston Celtics. And I think if this injury didn't happen, a lot of the headlines would be different. Kyrie Irving might not even be in Brooklyn, and Boston may have actually be competing for championships, which we all believe they would. I think if Gordon Hayward wasn't faced with missing an entire year and trying to incorporate himself back into the lineup, into the roster, we had Kyrie Irving actually got injured for the Boston Celtics as well. Both of them trying to find their footing in the 2018-2019 season. It just did not work. You're seeing Gordon Hayward start, I think, the first 18 games of the year, and then he was forced to come off the bench. I thought it'd just be cool to show you guys what he actually was able to do when he was with the Utah Jazz, and some of the things that he actually did in this season to show that he can return to the player that he was. So if you watch Gordon Hayward when he played with the Utah Jazz, it was evident that not only was he becoming a star of the league, but he actually was becoming a superstar. It showed I'm not too sure if it was this offense that the Utah Jazz were accustomed to, how it was all built around ball movement and passing, and it was basically built for Gordon Hayward. I think this year went with Boston and with Kyrie Irving. It was Kyrie Irving is a ball dominant point guard, and having Gordon Hayward just stand in the corner for a spot up jump shot just really didn't utilize his skills. Gordon Hayward makes plays, he creates plays. You see he makes plays off the dribble, and not only having Kyrie Irving control the ball for majority of the game, it doesn't let Gordon get into a rhythm. It doesn't really allow him to feel himself throughout the game. There was a few games this year that I'll be talking about where Kyrie Irving actually didn't play, and it was Gordon Hayward initiating the offense, and he really was back to his old form, as you guys can see here in the 2016-2017 season. Gordon Hayward exploding to the rim. I'm sure this season he will regain some of the explosiveness that he lost due to the ankle injury. Coming back and trying to rehab with a playoff team, a real contender in the Boston Celtics, I think Gordon Hayward wasn't best suited for him, and I do believe that this season they will unleash Gordon Hayward aside of Kemba Walker, and them two are going to lead the Boston Celtics to some bigger and better things. You've got Gordon Hayward in this season, was averaging almost close to 22 points, was an all-star, basically carried the Utah Jazz to the playoffs. They won the first round against the Clippers, and a few of these highlights in the playoffs were crazy, and we're going to show them soon. But I think Gordon Hayward now, with no Kyrie Irving there, is going to really, really show why Boston decided to sign him for 4 years, $117 million. And this season here, go back and watch some of these highlights. Gordon Hayward initiates passing, explodes to the ring, hits his jump shots when he's in rhythm. He's going to be a real dangerous vocal point for Boston, and if he can return to this form, don't count the Boston Celtics out in challenging for a NBA title. So I thought I'd talk about Gordon Hayward's playoff push and playoff run back in the 2016-2017 season. This game here was one of the games. I think he had 42 points. Gordon Hayward averaged 25 points per game in these playoffs. Like I said, they eliminated the Clippers, and then they ended up falling to the Golden State Warriors in a clean sweep. But this was Gordon Hayward's coming out party for say. Had a crazy regular season on his standards, and in these playoffs really picked it up. And this is what I think Boston fans were excited about. I think this is the Gordon Hayward they thought they were going to get. And I'm going to keep harping back on the injury. If Gordon Hayward was not injured in that first regular season game, I think this is the Gordon Hayward they would have seen. Now that Kyrie Irving is gone, I think this is the Gordon Hayward that could come out to play if his ankle is right, if everything is okay, and Brad Stevens builds an offense around him and Kemba. I definitely believe that Gordon Hayward will thrive in Boston, and if he only needs a little bit of that explosiveness back, and he did get that back in some of the games this year, but as you guys are seeing in these highlights, Gordon Hayward was a massive threat when it was the playoff time. He's a big body. He can finish at the ring. He can hit a jump shot when you need him to hit one. He's a good spot-up jump shot, can make his own play, as you guys can see here. I think this is the Gordon Hayward that will return this year, and this is why I think he will be an NBA All-Star. So we are well aware of how Gordon Hayward performed with the Boston Celtics. He only averaged 11.5 points. He looked like he was out of rhythm. Some nights looked like he wasn't even into the game. But these two games, I'm just going to show you some highlights of. This is what I think Gordon Hayward can bring to the Boston Celtics. This was coming off a back-to-back against the reigning NBA champs, the Golden State Warriors. They were missing Klay Thompson, but they basically did have a full lineup. Gordon Hayward went on to drop 30 points in this game. He's creating for his teammates, you can see here. Now that Kyrie Irving is gone, I think, yes, Kemba Walker is ball dominant, but he's not going to request, or he's not going to want the ball as much as Kyrie did. Gordon Hayward can create his own shot, as you see here, pulls up, knocks it down. And then there's this other game that I thought Gordon Hayward really showed what he could have brought to the Boston Celtics if he was allowed to play his proper own game. This game was against the Philadelphia 76ers, where Boston had Kyrie Irving out, had a few people out in this game, and Gordon Hayward, he was really basically running the offense for the Boston Celtics in a very, very close game, as you can see here. When there were shots that were needed, Gordon Hayward stepped up and knocked them down. This really reminded me of the Utah Jazz year, which Gordon Hayward was involved in. This what is kind of made me upset to see how he played this year and how he was utilized in the system. I know Brad Stevens did build the system around Kyrie Irving and Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, but I think if he incorporated Gordon Hayward a little bit more, gave Gordon Hayward the room, the space that he wanted. You see just there, any bit of room Gordon Hayward gets, he can knock down that jump shot. They go under the screen here. He knocks down a three. I think Gordon Hayward in these games really did show that he could have been an extreme asset to the Boston Celtics if he was given not only the chance, but if they persisted with him. I know there was a lot of noise saying that he shouldn't have been starting for the Boston Celtics, but the type of plays you've seen from Gordon Hayward really shows why they had him in the starting lineup throughout the start of the season. So my final predictions for this season, I believe Gordon Hayward will move back up to 23 points per game. I think he'll eclipse his 21 points per game he had with the Utah Jazz when he was an All-Star. I do believe Gordon Hayward will return into the East All-Stars. I think that having the season that he did, he definitely will bounce back. I've seen a lot of videos of him training, getting ready. We've got Kemba Walker coming in for the Boston Celtics. This year will be a massive year for Gordon Hayward, and he's not only the answer to their problems, but if he can get right, I genuinely believe Boston will challenge. So this was basically my reasoning on why I believe Gordon Hayward will be an All-Star next season. Comment down below what you guys think. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.